Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of What's PCJ Watching. I am your grand host here, Mr. Pop Culture Junkie, and I am not alone this time. We have a special guest joining us for this episode of What's PCJ Watching, the amazing, supportive, gorgeous, and most amazing wife in the world, my wife, Mrs. PCJ. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It is so great to have you on, and we have been through a lot in the last few weeks with the pandemic that's happening in the world. And we've been on lockdown mode. We've been told to stay home, stay away, don't go out unless you absolutely have to venture out and get your essentials. So what is it we have to do except stare at each other is stare at a TV. And thankfully we live in a world where we don't have to worry about popping in a DVD, or a VHS tape, a Betamax. We can just get on an Xbox, a PlayStation system, or just your TVs themselves if you have a smart TV, and you have just a ton of movies and shows available for you to watch at any time through streaming services. And we've been taking part in a lot of streaming services lately, having to find anything and everything we want to watch to keep us from going insane from being locked indoors, right? Right. So what we do on this episode, on this show, is I share my picks of things I want to watch that I think either is a great movie I watched growing up, something I just found recently. Other people would like to check it out because maybe they never heard of it. And so what I do is I give my picks on different movies or shows I find on streaming services. I asked you to come on because I think you're going to give us a different insight, some different picks that I may not have come up with myself, and so it'll be interesting to hear your picks along with mine.
Sounds good.
So have you made your list?
Yes.
You got your list ready to go. Okay, so we're going over to which streaming service we're going to start with. We're going to go with Hulu. So let's go with Hulu. What did you pick, Mrs. PCJ, for your choice of viewing entertainment on Hulu?
My choice was Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Okay, I am familiar with that movie. How familiar are you with that movie?
I'm very familiar with it. I just watched it the other day.
That's right, you did. We had our 11-month-old hanging out with us in the living room, and it was on Hulu. I decided to put it on, and you weren't able to get any work done because you were glued to the TV then, because it's just an awesome movie. But I grew up watching that movie myself. It's a comedy, dance, romance, rom-com, right? Something like that. And it stars very young actresses and a couple actors that we see later on in other shows and movies. Got a very, very young Sarah Jessica Parker, Helen Hunt, and Shannon Doherty. Very young Shannon Doherty. And Jonathan Silverman. And that's the only names that come to mind that stand out. But it's about a girl. She goes to private school. She just moved in. And she comes from a military family, so her dad's all military and strict. And but she loves dancing. She loves to dance, and she loves this dance show called Dance TV, right? I don't know how they came up with that name for a show, but but it's kind of like what, I guess you can compare it to Soul Train or there were those shows in the 70s, 80s that you had it was just dancing, and that's kind of what they are. And she sees that show over all the time, and then they announce they're going to have a dance contest, and if you win, you and your partner get to be on the show for a week or a year or something like that. And so Helen Hunt helps her because she meets her as her new friend at the private school, and they go to the dance contest. And of course, Sarah Jessica Parker is one of the best dancers there, so she gets picked to be one of the finalists.
But don't give the whole movie away. They have to go see it.
Well, we got to set up the premise. People got to know what's going on. We're not setting up the premise. That's in the first 10 minutes of the movie. So yeah, she enters the dance contest and she gets picked to be one of the finalists. But they still have the actual tournament contest on the show. That's the rest of the movie is building up to that. You have her and her partner having to figure out how to get along because he's the bad boy and she's the goody-good private school girl. You have the snooty rich girl and her bot partner that she hires with her crazy dad. With the party scene is the best. Yes,
that's my favorite.
I love that party scene. Yeah, it's amazing. So we're not going to spoil anymore. But yes, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Great movie. Fun. It's just great. And yes, just like the title, It's they use the song "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," the Cyndi Lauper, which was a huge hit. But yeah, I recommend that too. So great pick from Mrs. PCJ. With my pick now for Hulu, I decided to stick with the '80s as a good place to go for my choice, since that's a really big '80s movie. I went to Hulu, looked through there, and I came across a classic movie from the '80s, Risky Business. All right, so Risky Business came out in 1983. It's a teen coming-of-age comedy film. Some people would just call it a teen sex comedy almost, compared to more modern movies. To me, it has a lot of drama elements to it, because it really does get a little serious at times. But it's about Tom Cruise. He has this group of friends. You've got Curtis Armstrong, who's more known for in Revenge of the Nerds. You have Bronson Pinchot from Perfect Strangers. He's one of his buddies. But the whole movie is just teenage guys who want to get laid. And yeah, every guy can relate to that. Let me set the premise. Tom Cruise's parents are going out of town for like a week or two, and he's got the house to himself. His dad's got a Porsche in the garage, and his friends are telling him, "Oh, well, your parents are out of town. You got to do whatever you want to do." And he takes his dad's car for joyrides around town, and then the next night his friends are like, "Oh, well, you got to, get yourself a girl." They subtly get him to consider the options of paying for some entertainment to come to his house. And in a roundabout way, he meets the amazingly seductive Rebecca De Mornay. She plays Lana in this. That's her character's name. It's funny, it's entertaining, it's intriguing, and I remember watching this when I was younger. I was like 4 when the movie came out, so I wasn't watching it then, but I saw it later on in my teen years, and yeah, it was very entertaining, and I just like the cast. It's got people I mentioned already, and then you also have what's his name, Ralphie from The Sopranos. What's his name? He plays the pimp Guido. Joe Pantoliano from The Goonies, of course. People know him from that. But yeah, you have Curtis Armstrong. You have a great cast, and it's just a fun movie. I definitely recommend it. Not for kids, but I do recommend it. All right, everybody, those are our picks for What's PCJ Watching, and I could not be happier to have such an amazing guest on the show, Mrs. PCJ. Thank you so much for joining us. Your first ever debut to the channel here. Many of you have probably heard a word or two in the past, but it's nice to hear Mrs. PCJ joining us today.
Yeah, my incoherent thoughts.
We appreciate them. They're amazing. Yes.
Sounds good.
So guys and gals, let us know what you thought of our picks, and let us know in the comment section what you thought. If you've seen these and you want to share your thoughts and opinions on them, please do so. If you have some recommendations yourselves for what you've been watching lately, share with us as well, and we would appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, till next time, this is PCJ and Mrs. PCJ. Enjoy your movies. We're signing out.